Okay, so I've been reluctant to talk about this because I actually like this couple, but I feel like this really needs to be said, right? When it comes to Nick and Landria, like I voted for them when they were in the freaking island. I wanted them to win. I still want them to like be together and prosper. But it really annoys me how everyone else gets backlash but Nick. Like it's to the point it's really pissing me off, because when you look at things, a bunch of black people saying that these black women were not bullies is never going to be enough.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I'm Danny, and from the thumbnail you can see that this video is going to be about why I support Nick and why I like Nick. Now, with everything that's happened recently around Huda, conversations have been popping off online, particularly about Nick being blamed for some of the hate that Alandria receives. There's a segment of people who can't stand him because of how he handled the Huda situation outside the villa and his tendency to stay neutral or ride the fence on certain issues. Many are confused about why black women still support him, which is exactly why I'm making this video. But before I get into it, make sure you hit the like button, share this with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. It helps my channel to grow. Now let's get into it. Before I begin, I want to set this straight. Let me be crystal clear, okay? I don't support Nick because he's a white man, or because of his privilege, or because he had any industry connections before Love Island, blah blah blah. For whatever reason, y'all keep saying us Nicolandrians, what you'll say, we excuse his behavior or whatever. Now, I've seen countless of those comments, right? Excuses, accusing Nicolandrians of making excuses for him or supporting him simply because of his race. That's not it. I support Nick because he's consistently demonstrated integrity, loyalty, and honesty. He's shown himself to be caring, compassionate, and just a genuinely good person. Okay? Now, some of us run around with, like toxic people in our lives, and we have, people probably in our family that we can't stand, and just how we go about doing things. But when I look at Nick, he seems to want to always have harmony and peace and just be happy in his life. And I think that's what he strives for at all times, and he's not a person that likes mess or drama. However, if you bring mess or drama to him, he'll not back down from it. But he's not gonna start it, but he'll sure finish it. That's the energy that I get from Nick. And yeah, let's get into the rest of the reasons as to why I like Nick. Now, I don't know about you, but the moment I gained maximum respect for Nick was watching how he handled Alandria's near elimination. After she friend zoned him, right? Most of the villa wanted her gone during that elimination ceremony after Casa Amor, right? That big, I think was it the big elimination? Yeah, and they could only save one person. Right?
All three of them are amazing girls. I think it really just comes down to who wants to explore a connection. I want Coco to have a fair shot.
Also with Coco, I feel she deserves a chance to explore and get to know everybody throughout our whole entire connection. Not once did she make me feel like it's gonna be me or Shelly.
Did she pull you for a conversation, Coco?
Coco, no.
She didn't pull me for one either. But my thing is, no offense, Clark, y'all have only known each other for 3 days. decides to change his mind like in a couple days. So I'm voting Landria.
I want Landria to stay, but like I have to advocate for Coco. I do. Come back to me.
Now, that moment revealed everything about how Nick operates with loyalty and with integrity. These are qualities he also admires in Alandria. He looked out for her and fought to keep her in the villa, even though Taylor and Ace wanted her gone. Nick was coupled up with Sierra at the time, so if you look at it, saving Alandria didn't really benefit him. He had nothing to gain from keeping her in the villa whatsoever. So he did it out of just, you know, the pure friendship that they had and the loyalty. Again, putting forward the strongest argument to save her in that situation, right? Some can say, or some can argue that, you know, him wanting to be with her still was also a part of that, because a lot of people could see where he wasn't really interested in Sierra, right? And he probably saw where well, him and Sierra, I think they were closed off at that point, but he probably saw where there could possibly still be something with him and Alandria. But he said Alandria was his best girlfriend in the villa, so he really did enjoy having her around, so he did fight for her, right? So side note, you know, as I'm talking about that elimination in the villa, I really wish Love Island USA would have shown us that full conversation, because I still want to know how Nick managed to convince everyone to vote to keep Alandria in that villa. I still want to know. I don't know about y'all, but I wish they would have shown that at the elimination, at the reunion. Anyways, now let's rewind for a second, right? In one of my previous videos, I talked about Nick and Alandria's meet cute moment in the first episode. If you go back and watch the scene, you can see the instant attraction he felt towards her. Because of that initial interest in how their friendship evolved, right? He created some kind of safe space for Alandria in the villa. I don't think, because the producers did such a good job of hiding Nick and Alandria's a friendship relationship from us on the show, right? We didn't get to see how their friendship developed, but we did get to see bits and pieces when things started to dwindle down in the end of how close they actually were as friends, right? And so amidst everything that was going on in the villa while Alandria was busy, you know, being everyone else's safe space, Nick was looking out for our girl. Nick was looking out for her just as a person in the villa, as a friend, and possibly as her secret admirer, right? But he was her safe space. Like, probably Austin would fall in this category as well, because Austin spoke about how Alandria would make sure to be there for him, because the other guys, he didn't feel like a close relationship, and he wasn't really getting along with the other guys. So Alandria would try to like get the other guys to include Austin, right? So, but Alandria was that person for a lot of people in the villa. And from what Jeremiah said also, right? So Nick was her safe space. And for a lot of people who are not good at, you know, observing situations, observing behavior among groups of people, and just critical thinking and critical analysis, you would miss stuff like that. He was her safe space in the villa. Regardless of whether he's spoken out as loudly as some people would like or would have liked, understanding this very foundation of him being her safe space is what grounds us as Nicolandrians. It shows us who Nick is and what he stands for.
But with Nick, it's just like, he makes me feel so safe and so comfortable. Physical touch has been like climbing the ladder for me. It's like, wait, I don't mind being like very, very physical with you. I don't mind like being all lovey-dovey with you. You make me feel so safe, you make me feel so seen. You support me so hard. You know, cameras off, you support me so hard behind the scenes. It's just like, I don't know. I feel so soft. I feel so girly. I feel so like lovey-dovey with him. I have not felt like that in years.
Now, Nick's always looking out for Alandria's happiness, and this is another reason why I support Nick. How he's advocated for Alandria behind the scenes. Now, during his conversations with Taylor, he picked up on the fact that she wanted more from him romantically, right? He didn't just sit on that information that he got. He made sure to go back to Taylor and give him subtle but strong advice about what exactly Alandria was looking for from him. This was yet another way that Nick was looking out for her in the villa. Nick strikes me as being deeply empathetic. He might even be an empath if you think about it. Even though he wanted to vote Huda off the show, he still looked out for her in that villa. He was always honest with her, but made sure to communicate his feelings with care. He was honest with everyone, right? But he made sure to communicate his feelings with care in order to avoid causing harm. People see that as riding the fence, but to me, he just wants to exist in harmony, and whatever it takes to have that harmonious situation, he'll do that to have that harmonious situation. As I'm saying this, I'm thinking back to Alandria, what Alandria said on that podcast where Nick said, you know, can we just talk so we can fix it if she's angry about something? And he wants to talk about it to fix it, to come to some resolve, right? So that tells me that Nick is fundamentally a good human being, right? He wasn't scheming or looking for his moment of spotlight while in the villa. Even with Sierra, the whole Sierra thing, he communicated clearly to Sierra to avoid confusions. Even when she didn't like what he was saying, she didn't like what she was hearing. Some would argue that he led her on while in the villa, but to many of us viewers, we could see the difference in how he spoke to Sierra versus how he would speak to Alandria. And to a lot of us, Sierra played up their relationship and played it up to make it seem more than what it actually was. You know, we remember when we could see her lying, right? But I digress. So Nick is very clear in how he communicates. You just have to listen carefully and not put words in his mouth as Sierra would often do. But he makes his intentions clear, and he tries his best not to say something that he knows to not be true or that he doesn't mean, right? And so many of us pick up on that as well, and so we appreciate the way in which he chooses to handle certain situations. The next thing is, Nick has this phrase he uses since leaving the villa where he says, "Everybody eats." I feel like that's exactly how he moved while he was inside that villa. While other islanders were busy scheming and lying and manipulating and whatnot, he just wanted unity, camaraderie, and for everybody to win. So I do like that about him, where we see it even with his friends from Greek Fest, and how all of them have their separate business, and he just came out of the villa. He didn't have to go on Greek Fest, really. You know, he could just be focusing on his brand deals and whatnot, because Greek Fest is Max and Kwan's business, and it seemed to have been something that they've been doing already before Love Island. And so Nick going on Greek Fest it caused it to blow up. changed his friends' lives. He didn't have to do any of that. You know what I mean? So everybody eats. Everybody eats. The next thing that I really like about Nick, or one more reason why I support him, is that post Villa Nick, he's the clapback king, right? His clapback game is strong, honey. The way he comes at trolls and haters in the comments, ready to defend himself and Alandria, I love it. I love to see it. One of my favorite things is when, you know, a non-person of color, when they can match the energy and cuss people out and tap into that side of them, it's, to me, it's beautiful to see. It's beautiful to see. I feel like, you know, somewhere deep in his family tree, he's probably, like, I might be wrong for saying this, but like, have you seen his pictures as a kid? He looks, you know, like he's swirly. I'm wrong for this. I'm so wrong for this. But guys, am I lying? Am I the only one that sees this or thinks this? You know what I mean? He gives that type of energy, and I love it when a non-person of color can allow themselves to tap into that side and just go at it with people. I love it. Anyways, now another reason I also support Nick, because of his versatility and his ability to be his unadulterated self. He can walk into any room and own it. He gets along with just about everyone, and he's somewhat of a chameleon, right? We've seen him vibe with fans, with guests on podcast interviews. Just watching him in action is amazing, not to mention his various side quests. Nick is 24 years old and has lived more life than many of us. He reminds me of my younger self, unafraid to take on anything new and embrace fresh experiences. I'm originally from Jamaica, and I moved all the way across the world with my best friend to live in the countryside in Japan. Then from there I moved to Tokyo, where, if you know anything about Tokyo, busy, bustling, and you know, I took on Tokyo as well and was doing quite well over there. I loved it, and then loved it for the most part. There were parts of it where like, this place ain't for me, if you know anything about Japan. But for the most part, I loved my experience there. I got to meet so many people from so many different countries. It was amazing to interact with, you know, just various people from various cultures. And I got to travel to other Asian countries as well. So after that, I uprooted my life again to come here to America for more fulfilling experiences. So if nothing else, Nick has reminded me that there's more life to live, and to never be afraid to just put yourself out there, go for it, live and let live. Finally, I support Nick, and I love Nick for how he loves Alandria out loud, and just his unwavering support for her. As Alandria shared on Watch What Happens Live, Nick welcomed her into his brand deals with Kalani Kinis and Nagode Kafir. And on Sorry We're Cyrus's podcast, she mentioned how Nick's dad helped her with those initial brand deals before she was officially signed to DBA. And we saw his support during New York Fashion Week when he flew back and forth to be there for her in the middle of his packed schedule. And on top of that, he's been all over social media defending her and cheering her on in the comment section. So we love to see it as Nicolandrians. Like, who doesn't want a man who is just here, there, and everywhere? Alandria Alandria this, Alandria that, Alandria this, Alandria that. Like, come on. Who does not want that? we love to see that as Nicolandrians. I love to see it. So these are my reasons for supporting Nick and for rocking with him. And though there's one other thing that I forgot to mention. It was, you know, when we were watching Greek Fest lives, was it Pressure on from TikTok? She was doing her live and she drove 10 hours to go to the Greek Fest meet and greet, and Nick heard about it and he booked her a hotel to sleep overnight so she didn't have to drive all the way back for 10 hours. That was just amazing. Like, when we see those type of things, we're like, yes, this is why we like Nick. You know what I mean? He didn't have to do that. He whipped out his card and booked her a hotel room. That was heartwarming to see. And it just goes to show we have a lovely community. We have cultivated a lovely community. And yeah. So these are my reasons for supporting Nick and for rocking with him. I'll continue to support him unless he does something that gives me a reason to consider otherwise, you know. So yeah. So let me know down in the comments if you agree with me or if you have additional reasons for supporting Nick. If you're not a Nick fan, please avoid sharing your opinion. I do not want any negative back and forth in my comments. Any negative comments will be deleted. Thank you very much. All right, so as usual, thank you so much for watching. Please like, please share, and I'll see you in, and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.